All right. I was feeling like some Nelly Furtado today. So kind of an appropriate song. We're trying to make things fly away. I get decluttered. And so, that one came up. So perfect timing, as always. So I'm going to get started. We have a few more people signed up that haven't joined us yet, but we'll get going. And I want to respect the people's time who are here. Thanks for coming. And I am Jen Hurd. I am a professional organizer and now an app developer. That's my latest new skill I've learned since COVID. We have a new app out. So we have Clean Sweep Consulting is my organizing business, and Love Bigger is my app that is available on the iPhone, the iTunes store, and then the Google Play Store as well. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pop up a little PowerPoint that I built to go along with today's conversation. Okay, we are sharing screen. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can possibly see who else is joining us as well while I'm doing this. Maybe it's not going to let me. Un momentito. All right, so here we are. Love Bigger, I just mentioned. So Love Bigger is an online donation marketplace. So it helps connect givers and local charities. So part of the reason that I have these talks about being able to share and donate is because, and obviously declutter, it contributes to the donations that can then go to charities. And that's where really my heart is and has been for many years. Part of our business with Clean Sweep, my team has never charged anything to donate to charities, to drop things off to charities and whatnot. But during COVID, when everything was shut down, I thought I should build something to replicate what it is we do in that regard. And so that's how this came about, just to put it in a nutshell. Let me do this. I'm going to stop sharing 1 second just because I want to check over here, and I can't for some reason do both today. Sorry. So a couple updates from Love Bigger. We'll just keep going, and you'll have to see the replay because I can't admit people and do this at the same time, and I don't have my assistant with me today. So we're going to wing it. A couple updates from Love Bigger. So as of today, we just launched in the end of last year, like in November, December, and that was a very soft launch with just a few people on. And so now we're starting to accumulate more charities. We have 15 charities and Share Detroit as part of that. Share Detroit has another 200 and some charities as part of their organization. And we've got over 200 givers signed up. So that's pretty amazing. We're pretty stoked about that. I am actually speaking to you today from this crazy looking room. It's actually a real place. This isn't a fake backdrop. This is the Velocity Accelerator in Sterling Heights, which is something that I have joined and participate in over here. And we have these wonderful meeting rooms that the participants get to use for our meetings. So I have this really cool place to talk to you from with great high-speed internet, which I love. So thank you, Velocity Center, for that. We are currently working on seeking corporate partners to help us to make this free and keep it free to charities. And obviously just keep an eye on our Instagram feed because there's a lot of great updates coming from the charities. There's great spring events coming up. There's volunteer opportunities. So I always like to plug that right out of the gate. If you're looking for some fun things to do and to fill up the social calendar while helping others, watch our Instagram feed. We share out a lot of things from our partner charities that are coming up. And just keep an eye on the charities' needs that they post in the app, because you may have something with the tag still on it that you can't return, but there's needs posted from those charities that may need those items. Yesterday, we took part in a really cool thing. We went to the Pistons Comerica Bank event, and it's called Shop 313. It's a new program that they have, and we got to go and have a booth down there by the district market, as you can see, with a number of other businesses, which was terrific. We met a lot of really great people, gave out some fun prizes from our charities. We shared all about our charities. We gave out like 160 candy bags, I think it was. And so this is kind of what it looked like. This is some of the businesses that they highlighted, including Love Bigger, which is really exciting. And that's me in the middle. And those are some of my new friends I made last night. So kind of cool. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Just want to give a couple updates before I got started. I'm going to do one last check of the sec. do one last check of missions to make sure. Okay, good. No idea why it's not letting me. That's okay. All right. So let's go back into presenter mode. So we have, today we're going to talk about the topic of the day is decluttering in the springtime. Such a fun thing to do when the weather changes and it's so nice. And I can tell you every single year as a pro organizer, my phone starts ringing about the third week in February, second, third week, as soon as we get warm enough weather, and it just starts ringing because everybody gets in this mode, right? Like, okay, the winter's over. I want to get ready to be outdoors. I want to clean out the garage. I want to make space now. I've been cooped up in this house with all this stuff all winter. So it feels great. And it's a great time to talk about it. Great time to get your kids and your family involved in it. That also helps build some skills for your kids for the long term, and learning about what things you can do in what season, bring them along with you on this little jaunt that we're going on today. And then I have a lot of techniques and fun things to try. So let's talk about the C word. The C word is clutter. Clutter is a whole lot of things, actually. People just think of it as like a bunch of stuff laying around, but it's not necessarily just that. It is also blocked energy. And it's not just the physical stuff. There's a lot to it in terms of people have so much mental clutter, old ideas that are stuck in little thought spirals in our heads, and toxic relationships, bad habits, just things that we do that clutter up our lives as well. So I want you to think of clutter in a little broader perspective this spring, because maybe there's some things, some habits you want to change as well. And we can talk about that. So physical space, though, since that's probably why you came, let's talk about what the impact is of your physical space on your mental space and your spiritual space. When there's a lot of clutter around you, it immediately creates stress, and those stress hormones that are released in your brain impact your ability to think clearly, to process information well, and really to focus on things that are important to you. And some of that may be your spiritual life. So in general, clutter just really hampers us from really being our best selves. That's on the physical side. If you think about the mental side and the emotional side, let's say a relationship that ended, but we constantly ruminate about what went wrong, what did we do, how could we have done something differently? All of those things that we're thinking about from our past are preventing us from looking forward into our future, into what our new goals are, what we want to do. And sometimes we have to be able to say to ourselves, what's done is done here. I'm going to declutter that and dust off the cobwebs, and I'm going to move forward from that situation. And today is the day that starts. So that is also a kind of mental decluttering we can do. It's just one example. So taking control of your mental and your physical space, but your environment in particular, can really reduce your stress, and it can improve your focus. I talk a lot to my clients about their bedroom space in particular. Where you sleep should not have piles of your work papers in it. Where you sleep should not have piles of your clothing all over the bed that you'd like to climb into, and it stresses you out every time you go to just even lay down because there's just things all over the place. You've got to work on, you get to find this fun, creating the space that you want to reside in and where you want to find your rest. Okay, so that's just an example. Noticing the things in your space and determining, do I really love this, or does it just need to go because there's things I love better? That doesn't cost you anything. You can hire an organizer to help with it, certainly, but you can do this stuff for free and take action and evaluate the things on your own and make some plans about what you want to do. And if you need the help, hire the help, for sure. I would never stop someone, of course, because I love to do what I do as well. But discuss with your family some things. Some of the things you can talk about over the dinner table that I think people don't talk about so much, and I think are important conversations to have with our kids, especially as they enter their teen years, are things like, what does it mean to have enough? When do we have enough? Enough clothes, enough toys, enough video games? Is it just because we have to look like the person we just saw, on our phone that has this new whiz bang gadget, or this new cool shirt that everyone's buying, or the new Stanley, thermoses or whatever, or cups that everyone's getting? Do we really have to have that? Is there something to that makes us a better person? Is there something that changes us when we buy that? Or is it just because people have it? Like my mom always used to say, if everybody, like if there was a stampede and one of the animals ran over the cliff, the rest would run right over with them. But that's not a good thing. So we need to look at, is it just a stampede, to purchase the next shiny object? Or is that something that when we have that, we'll feel like that's enough, that's it. We've really achieved it. Because I think enough is different things to different people, but it might change the kid's perspective and other family members' perspective if you really talk about it, because it is different for different people. And different people have different love languages. So sometimes enough for someone whose love language is gifts is much different, because the gifts are what's important to them, than a person who quality time is their love language, right? Because having enough for someone whose love language is quality time might be, I need more time spent with you, right? And that's what would be enough for me. So enough is a really broad term, and it's something to really talk about and understand how you can, how the people in your household or in your frame of reference really perceive things. What does success look like? What does an abundant life look like? Like when will we be comfortable really with what we have? And when do you have all you really need? And need versus want, right? Do we have everything we need to be successful? Do we have a roof? Do we have a bed? Do we have food? Do we have just enough clothing, to make a capsule wardrobe, right? That's the big buzzword right now. But, and that's really a need. The capsule wardrobe is your needed wardrobe. And if you have more than that, really those are wants. So those are things to talk about, because then you can make a determination when you're decluttering what needs to stay and what really needs to go, to make room for the things that you really want. One other thing I tell people, please remind yourself and think about this every day. Clutter is a physical manifestation of unmade decisions, and that's that mental piece, right? I'm going to move forward from this poor relationship, this poor situation, whatever. That's an unmade decision. You haven't made the decision to stop thinking about that yet and move forward. Fueled by procrastination. In the physical sense, those unmade decisions are, this needs to go somewhere else, but I don't know where to put it. I haven't made a home for it. So that decision hasn't been made. So it clutters things. So there's a couple different types of unmade decisions there, but all of it's procrastination. You don't want to make the decision. My voice is very tired from last night, so I'm going to put in a cough drop. I talked to probably 200 people last night over loud music, so forgive me. But if we don't want to make the decision and we don't make the choice to change, the clutter will stay, right? Decision making is the key to reducing it. A few things about kids and clutter too, because I think that's important to think about. Kids that live in clutter and chaos have a tougher time in school. It's well studied, it's well documented in psychological journals. When kids don't have any control of their environment, they founder. Okay, so this is something to really strongly consider if you want your child to have success. They have a tougher time socially because they can't invite their friends home, because they're embarrassed potentially by the situation that they find themselves in there. They have fewer toys. Oh, the kids who have fewer toys, sorry, tend to respect and care for their toys better. There's actually studies about that. Children who have fewer things to play with are more imaginative. They're far more creative with what they have. If you think about old movies you've seen with kids in the 50s and they're running around with a stick and, and some rocks or whatever they were playing with outside, they found ways to make that to something. And a lot of our kids have lost a lot of creativity because everything's put in front of them fully built, right? Or they take it very literally. Whereas a lot more creative play happens when kids have fewer toys. And also kids who learn about stewardship early on, and that everything they buy has a life cycle. It's not just a purchase. There's a whole lot more to it than that. They will remain a good steward throughout their life. And they will tend not to be reckless with their money. So these are conversations that are important to have with our young family members. First step to getting decluttered. Let's move a little more into the decluttering phase for this spring. Knowing what you love. If you notice the things in your space that you really love, just walk through your house for a minute and take a look at the things that you absolutely just love having. They're just your favorite things. The rest of it becomes a little less of a priority. So knowing what you love helps you make those decisions. Paying attention to that, to the things that make you happy, that make you smile, that lighten up your life. I mean, it's crazy. I still have a teddy bear that I've had for, I'm trying to think how many years, 18 years. I have it not because I have a thing for little kids' toys, but it was given to me for a very particular reason. When I went through my divorce, my neighbor sent his son over to give me chocolates, flowers, and a teddy bear after my husband left. And they said, every beautiful woman should receive these things for Valentine's Day. And I kept the bear. I love him. He makes me smile, but I kept him symbolically because it reminds me of my worth, right? So there's things like that that you want to keep because it's a reminder. It's a concrete, really easy way to make yourself smile and just, take a load off, whatever it is. But that's one of the crazy things for me that I have, that I keep. He's in my closet, but it's just, I look at it and I just smile because that whole situation was just, it was such a blessing. So finding your why as you're beginning your decluttering, right? Because if you know why you're doing it, you can make room for the things you really want. And take a look at the things you really want to hang on to if you know why you're doing this, right? Removing the things that remove you from your life. There are things in our lives that just pull us off our game. Over the years, I've had many clients who kept things that were from a really, really negative period in their life. Almost like they wanted to keep beating themselves up with it, keep reminding themselves of something that was ugly, painful, grotesque, sad, whatever it was. And we've had to have a lot of those types of conversations, like really, you need to remove these things that remove you from being present in your life and that keep pulling you back to a past that is over now. And so that's really important. And besides that, underneath all the clutter, the things you really love and the things you want to see every day. So if you get the clutter out of there, you're looking more frequently at the things that you really feel are important. So this really can improve your ability to just enjoy your life. Helpful hints to avoid clutter. First of all, there's no rush in decluttering unless you have like a specific event or something you're doing it for. But honestly, it took you a while for things to get that cluttered in the first place. So you really have to start decluttering at a pace that's right for you. Don't beat yourself up about it, but you've got to make time for it. So you get to take out your calendar, and in your calendar on your phone, or if you use a paper calendar, whatever the case, block out 15 to 30 minute little blocks of time once a week, twice a week. When you know the kids are, at school or you've got a free window of time, create a routine around it. That really helps you avoid clutter because you can take a quick pass through, put things back that you already have the homes for, etc. Also, if you have to sit down and go through papers and things that you just hate doing, set up a comfortable place, light the fireplace, make it comfy, find a spot in your favorite chair, get a good light so you're not straining to look at things and all the small print. And just create a place for them to go as you review them. Like bring a box over that's for the shredding, that's for the trash. Just make it comfortable so that it's an enjoyable 15 to 30 minutes, even if it is working through papers that you hate to do. You can make it a little bit better, right, for yourself. Put on some music, use the timer. Like I said, some people really like that timer. They get an egg timer out. They actually sell productivity timers online that have like little color coding, and you can set them for certain periods of time, and then you just power clean, power declutter, whatever, for 15 to 30 minutes. So you can, if you know yourself well, you can come up with some really good methods. But organized stuff is still stuff. So I have a lot of clients over the years that had us in to organize their home, but they want to keep everything. And we find ourselves organizing, and then we find ourselves back again at more to the client's expense because we're back over and over because they've kept so much, it keeps falling apart. So there's a really, I want to say, there's a sweet spot, I guess is what I want to say. If you get rid of enough stuff, everything has homes, it goes back to its homes as you're continuing to declutter throughout the week. And you end up having a lot easier time of maintaining it, and you don't have to have someone come in all the time. So it saves you the cost of that. Plus, if you have any like a cleaning lady that comes every couple of weeks or something like that, a lot of times what happens in houses that hire a cleaning service is the cleaning service just does this. They scoop everything into a drawer so that they can dust or clean counters, right? That doesn't work. So you want to set up the homes before you hire them, or you want to have an organizing service come in, create the homes so that then your cleaning people can maintain. It makes a lot more sense, but organized stuff is still stuff. The fewer things you have, the less you're going to have to go back and deal with it all. So think about it in terms of making your life easier. How many minutes you're going to save by getting rid of 10 pounds of stuff or 30 things out of that house. It's 30 more things you don't have to pick up and move around the house anymore. So that's really a key piece of this. Decluttering does not have to be a total downer, right? The story you tell yourself is what's really important about this. It's having an internal sense of optimism about it. Don't treat decluttering as some terrible task. Don't tell yourself it is. It's really not. I enjoy it and do it all the time, full time for a job. So there are people in the world who it's great for. I know you say, oh, well, that's just you. No, really, it can be you too. But it's the story. The stories we tell ourselves about a lot of things are really what hinder people, a lot of people. I'll never be good enough to do this. I'll never be skilled enough at this to become, what I want to be, or I'll never win this race because whatever it is, those stories are damaging. And the story for me has always been, I'm a child of God. He made me a certain way, a special way with skills and abilities. And if I want to learn a new skill and ability, I can learn it. And I try to remind that to people. You can learn anything that you put your mind to. There's people who can't walk right now who will teach themselves how again, and they'll be in the news, right? So decluttering is not that. It's not that hard. It's not something like that. So don't treat it as terrible. Start decluttering by removing something that bugs you. Okay, so there's something in your house. I know there's a thing or a drawer or a little spot that you're like, every time you walk by, the hairs on your neck go up. You're just bristling over it. It just bugs you every time. Start with that spot. Start with that thing that's just the biggest pain that bugs you the most, or that you know just doesn't serve you. It's been sitting in that middle of that room or that shelf. You've looked at it 1,000 times and thought, I need to get rid of that. There's your decision right there. Make the first decision. So that's the best place to start. This spring is find something that bugs you and start there. And progress over perfection. It may not be perfect. You may clean out the junk drawer, and then yet a couple weeks go by and you haven't gotten something in there to kind of hold the stuff. So it shuffles around a little bit or whatever. It's made progress. It's just not done. That's fine. It's progress, right? But if you want to, order something off of Amazon to put all the little pieces into, super. Put it on your calendar when you're going to do it. And then do it then, because you're busy. We're all busy. So you really have to push back a little bit on your calendar and on your personal time to make space to do this. There's a lot of people who run 500 miles an hour, especially if they have little kids, especially if they've got a busy family life or small business. A lot of my clients are small business owners with a bunch of kids, in fact. And that being the case, you have to really work on calendar management and just building those little tasks in there, just like it's a meeting, just like you're going to go meet with Joe Schmo or you're going to have the plumber come. Okay, this is the same sort of thing for you. So if you're going to make progress and it's a goal for you this spring to get the house back in order, you got to build those into your schedule. And then finally, the last little trick that's really helpful is I call it the purgatory technique. Purgatory is kind of the place in between heaven and hell, right? So, so it's in your house, it's bugging you, but I might need it, or shoot, I'm just not sure if I should let go of that yet. But if you want to make the space in that particular room that it's in a certain way, and you want to get it out of there, but you don't want to let it go yet, you can put it in a box, mark the box as check this later and put a date on it. That date can be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 30 days even. If you haven't looked for it, even considered it in that period of time, put a note in your calendar to go back to the box. Just say, visit the check this later box, right? In your calendar. When that day comes, those items go, and just make the commitment to yourself. If you haven't visited that box in that time or that spot in the closet where you stash it, then it goes, and that's that, right? So I like that technique a lot. That sort of put it in between, out of your sight, and see what happens. This is the part in the presentation where I like to remind you there just simply isn't room. This is my little saying I use with people all the time. When they say you can have it all, right? We always hear that. You can have it all. They did not mean all at one time. They didn't mean having all of it in our house all at one time. Because it's really not how life works and how your personal space should work. Also, who said we want to live with it all in our homes, our drawers, and our lives right now, right? Like there is so much going on just in terms of springtime, sports, schedules, all the things going on. If you reduce these distractions that are in your home and the clutter in your personal space, you'll be amazed. When you get home from those busy days, from being out running around with the kids, and they have a spot to put their book bag and a spot to put their coat and a spot to put their shoes, so you're not cleaning up behind them as soon as they've gone to bed, right? You get to go to bed. You get to rejuvenate and start your next day because you didn't have to spend another 30 minutes on those tasks. So if you set yourself up for success, then your life will be a lot more productive and you'll get more rest. Closet refreshes are great to do in the spring. This is my favorite part of the springtime, is turning over closets. A lot of people don't have room in their closet if they're not doing a capsule wardrobe. They may not have room, especially older homes, for everything to fit at once. So sometimes we have a summer wardrobe and a winter wardrobe. Spring, summer / fall, winter is how we usually do it. So this is the time when the spring and summer wardrobe gets moved into place. And a couple of the winter or fall sweaters can stay, to throw over, or we put them in a separate location and you can just walk in there and grab it. But we do a closet refresh. It's the best. It's so wonderful to go through your clothes, get rid of the stuff you didn't wear last year, that doesn't fit you, that is not your color, that somebody gave you that wasn't even something you would have chosen, etc. Do a refresh, do a purge. Hire someone if you don't want to do it yourself. I'm going to do a bunch of closets next week. I've got a couple different houses I'm going to do just that. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Garage cleanup. If you're going to be in and out of your garage a lot, your kids play in the driveway and that garage door is always open and it's just an embarrassment for the neighbors to see all the stuff, call a pro to get hooks up on the wall, to get you some shelving in, to put a slat wall up if you want. Those are really cool, super in vogue right now. Or just have us come clean it out and maybe put some things in bins, put some labels and tidy it up. Because this is the time of year where that garage gets pretty crazy. So it's better to do it now during a more temperate weather also than in the freezing cold. So schedule that if you want someone to help you. It's a really busy season, so you may make slow progress, again, work in short chunks. And part of organizing in the spring for me is always pruning back all the houseplants, getting some new houseplants if things just haven't made it through the winter well. They are wonderful to clean the air, reduce your CO2, make you smile. I did a social post about it this week, but I like to remind people, plants make great gifts. I don't consider plants clutter unless you're totally out of control about it. But they are lovely for improving your mood and really being something that will live longer than just the moment of receiving the gift. If you give it away to somebody. This was from a previous presentation that I did, but this is some things you can enlist your kids to help with in the springtime as well. They can help reset their closet in the spring, just like us adults have to do. Kids can check in their closet and their drawers and pull out any of the clothes that don't fit them or that have stains or that they've ripped. You can set them to it. And kids can make those determinations from a pretty young age. So have them pull this stuff out and put things in a box that they're not going to wear, especially the teens, because there's a lot of things they'll have in there that you might have bought, but they won't wear it. Let them self-determine, because those items, if they were never worn and the tags are still on, they can go to charity. Decide when they're done playing with it, same thing. They can do a toy, just make a game of it, but let them clean out their toys. Get all the pieces together so it can be donated. And if not, it can be recycled. Making beds and things like that go a long way to making your home feel amazing. If the kids make their beds when they leave for school in the morning and you don't walk back in from dropping them off and have to look around, or walk in from work later, heaven forbid, and look around and think, oh, this is just, it just makes everything feel so messy. Getting kids on a schedule of making their beds in the morning and building that time into their schedule. Many families forget to teach time management, but this is important for when they go off to college or even when they leave the house and live on their own. Make their bed each day, get up early enough that they have to leave for work, that they have time to eat a healthy meal and make their bed and put their pajamas in the laundry. You know what I mean? Brush their teeth. Like, how long does that take them? I know exactly how long it takes me from the time I get out of bed till I get out the door in the morning with the tasks that I always do in the morning. These are skills to teach your kids and that help you and keep the house more decluttered so you have less to do, right? Putting the laundry in a hamper, putting their clean laundry away. If you use a label maker and you put labels on places of where things go and they can read, they can put them away. It doesn't have to be perfectly folded. If the underwear is in the underwear drawer, that's good enough. It's not laying around or on the floor, etc. So you gotta, let kids do to the level that they can, but get those tasks off of your back. These are ways to give kids clarity. You can give them a little checklist in their bedroom, for example, before they leave in the morning. These are the things that they get to do. So just to help you. And also using rewards and consequences with kids and family members. If everybody helps me out on Saturday with cleaning out the garage, as soon as we're done, we're going to go get ice cream. We're going to all go get ice cream, and then we're going to go see that movie you guys wanted to see. Use rewards. Kids will work to a reward. My daughter used to go detail my neighbors' cars in their driveways because I told her if she earned X amount, she could get the new toy or the new camera or the new whatever she wanted. She knew she had to earn at least 50% of it. She would go do it because she knew that was her reward if she did the work. It's a great thing to teach kids about the value of $1 too. And so I always talk about stewardship at this point. So when you're working with your kids and with your family, just if it's just 2 adults in the house, take a look on the Bigger app or take a look at Google charities in your area that you can support and find out what they need, because often we have those items in our home and we're not using them. And there are people on a waiting list to get those items. So I think that it's really important to I don't know what it is, pop-up day, I guess. It's a really great way to come together as a family and decide who you're going to support and how, and take your extra and really do something extraordinary with it. And research projects are great for kids to find out about charities, and they can do, UNICEF always does those Halloween little coin drives. When I was growing up, that was always what the kids would do, but you can find a charity and you can do a birthday party. Adults and kids can do that. I've had both adults and kids as part of my practice with organizing, do a birthday party for a local charity. And then go to the charity, take a group, and either, like, one was for Humane Society, they went and pet the puppies. One was for a home for a Humble Design here in Detroit, and they went and did the build out of the house. So those are great ways to support local organizations with a little research and time spent. And you can feel really good about getting rid of the stuff that you don't need. If you were on the fence, this will definitely get you off the fence, because if there's somebody sleeping on a floor and you got, a spare headboard and box spring for a twin bed that a child could get up off the floor just sitting there. It's very motivating when you realize that as soon as they get in the house, they don't necessarily have anything in their house, and you can support that. So this is a great way to have your kids help you get things together. Go to charity, put a bin or basket in their closet. And if it's something that they realize doesn't fit them anymore, but it's still good, there's no rips, tears, or stains, and it's not completely pilled or worn, they can put it in that basket. And then when it gets filled up, they can go with you to take it. Birthdays to benefit is what I was talking about, doing the charity birthdays. Considering this time of year, this is also part of the spring rush of showers for weddings and baby showers and birthday parties and outdoor this and that, and sporting events, right? Gifts to give for sports coaches. Gift cards are great, you know, if it's for food or something that's consumable, because it doesn't create clutter. But also chip in on the honeymoon if it's a wedding gift. You don't have to buy them a bunch of tchotch for around their house. Chip in on something that they're going to make the best memories of their life to do, right? Or chip in on the house fund, because that's a big thing that is really, especially right now. Housing is so expensive. These kids are having to wait years and years to try to afford to get in one. So support that. You know, like, what's your big goal? Like, what can I really help you accomplish? And have that conversation, because all that little stuff doesn't mean anything if you don't have a house to put it in. They don't need a new cutting board or a blender if they don't have a kitchen, right? So help them to prioritize and prioritize how you give to support their big goals. And those, they won't forget that either. Offering a service instead of stuff, lend a hand. Give someone a certificate for, if you know how to do massage, give them a certificate. I will give you a back rub or a foot rubber, or I will come clean up this thing for you, or do this job you don't like to do because I love you. There's no more stuff in your house, and that person's going to be really happy that you offered them, because I know I would be. Give a plant, give a gift card or an experience. Say, we're going to rent a VRBO for a long weekend this summer, 45 minutes away up by that lake, and we're going to go have a big family bonfire one night if we accomplish this, right? Or in honor of your birthday and your birthday, we're going to combine it together and we're going to do this fun thing instead of buying a bunch of junk. Think about that, because there's no more clutter coming in your house, and it saves you a lot of time dealing with all that. There's some great articles. I like to make recommendations at this point on cool things to find out about decluttering. So there's a great article, Happy Organized Life. She's a great organizer, Emily Rooney, but she does a lot of great articles. I don't write as prolifically as she does. So I like to talk about the organizers that really got it going on in terms of their writing. And she talks about some of these methods that I do use, but she has some great articles on decluttering. You can do decluttering bingo with your kids or with your family. That's a fun way to make it a game. You put the little squares with the different things that they get to help clean up. And once they do, they get the token. And if they get a bingo, then they get a prize. There's other cleanup games for kids, a scavenger hunt. Adults can do that too. Or give kids a pile of books and tell them to go on sellmybook.com or Book Scouter on the app. Find all the books in the house that you could sell, and then decide where that money goes. It could go to a family trip. It could go to the apple orchard to get cider and donuts, whatever it is. But there's some great ways you can have the kids learn to scrape together a few pennies and reward them for getting the clutter out of your house. So here's some more great mindset coaching that's out there. Joshua Becker, anything he does, Clutter-Free with Kids, A Minimalist Home, how to reduce the stuff in your space and why. And that's different to everybody. Minimalism does not mean living with nothing. You're not a monk, for heaven's sakes, but minimalism does mean reducing things. And he does a great job on the mindset of why you can downsize your stuff. And it really helps, I think, to get in that mindset and hear it from someone else just beside me. For kids, Be the Boss of Your Stuff. Great book for kids. It's on Amazon. The Minimalist Podcast with Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus. They do a ton. They do a lot of shorts now on TikTok too. But they're great. If you see these guys, anything they have to say philosophically, I'm 99.9% on board with. We also have the Love Bigger official Instagram for our Love Bigger app, which talks about downsizing and supporting charities in the community. And it's Love Bigger Community on Facebook. We couldn't get them both the same for whatever reason. And then we have our our channel on YouTube. Trying to think of the name. Yeah, YouTube. This is another organizer in the Detroit area who's great. They did a really good organizing with kids project, and I will put this. This will be on my YouTube, so you can grab these links. And then this is about our app. So if you think about it and you would like, please just look up Love Bigger in the App Store or the Google Play Store and sign up for our app, or you can use this QR code. This is what it looks like, just so you can get a glimpse of it. So there's a map here that shows all the charities in your area that you can donate to. And you can drill down, you can look at the list view and drill down into them and find out who they serve, what their needs are, all of that kind of thing. And then you can post items that you would like to donate. And if they have a need for them, they can also reach out to you and say, hey, we would love to receive that item. We have featured charities and charities near me. So featured charities are ones that are like partnering with us and sponsoring. And they might be a little further away, but the charities near me is the key area to look at if you want to find a charity. And our website is just lovebigger.com. So it's super easy to find us. And that's a little bit about us. So please consider joining our app. And I gotta stop sharing screen so I can actually see if people send me messages. Why it's been so difficult today. Yeah. All right. So that is the nutshell of what I had. But if you have questions for me, Lily, or anything I can do to support you today, I'm happy to answer them at this time. And if not, I'm always available by phone to call, and I do not charge to do consultation visits anywhere in Oakland County and a little bit into Wayne and Macomb, surrounding counties, Livingston, just depending on how far. My home base is Rochester Hills, although I'm over in Sterling Heights a lot for this accelerator. So that's sort of the nutshell of where I am, but I am really happy to help. So if there's anything I can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if there are no questions, then I will sign off, I guess. But thank you for joining us today. And again, cleansweepconsulting.net is my main page for the organizing business, cleansweepconsulting.net. And then there's lovebigger.com. Those are the two sites that are involved with this. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad it was valuable. You know, once I see things on site and in person too, I have a lot more specific, you know, direction I can give. But when I have not seen perhaps the situation, I don't necessarily, I try to keep it a little more general for these sorts of presentations. But yes, please reach out anytime, and I'll look forward to seeing you at some point. All right. Thank you. Everyone have a great day, and this will be posted soon. We'll get this rendered and put up on our Love Bigger YouTube channel. All right. Have a great week, everyone.